Do you want to know what happens when a little girl is raised by emotionally immature and authoritarian parents? She becomes the good girl. In other words, a high-achieving, highly empathic, highly anxious, perfectionistic, people-pleasing, binge and emotional eater. If that's all you, then you're in the right place. And you may be wondering, how did this happen? Well, when you're raised by authoritarian and emotionally immature parents, you are required to obey without question, because they thought that this is how you were taught to show respect. But really what you were taught is how to fear them. Because anytime that you made a mistake or you didn't live up to their expectations, you were criticized, you were shamed, you were punished, verbally or even physically. So you adapted yourself. You learned to be hyper vigilant. Basically, you learn to walk on eggshells around your caregiver's big emotional outbursts. You learn to not speak unless you were spoken to be seen but not heard. And you became their perfect good little girl. But what nobody knew is that deep down, you never felt good enough because you were held to these really high expectations that were put on you. Their criticism and their judgment eventually became your own inner voice. And because you learned that negative emotions and negative situations were bad, you learned to avoid them at all costs. And so here you are, 30 or 40 or even 50 years later. You still struggle with showing emotion. You struggle with saying no because you're so afraid to disappoint people. You want to please everyone and make them happy, even if it costs you your own happiness. You feel like it's your job to fix people's emotions and tend to their needs. The worst part is that you're losing yourself in this process. You don't even know who you are anymore. And this relationship with others and yourself is showing up in your relationship to food as a binge and emotional eater. You use food to stuff down those uncomfortable emotions that you don't feel safe to sit with, and to stuff down the needs that were never met since childhood.